What's going on, fam? Back with another video. Hope you guys have been doing well. Sorry for taking so long for making this video. Last week I was very sick and I could not make any videos. Of course, when it comes to updates, we have some huge updates to cover because of course last week we had a massive liquidation event. If I go to the liquidations, we had nearly $20 billion in liquidations, which was absolutely massive. We had a huge dump and a lot of altcoins actually nearly zeroed out on Binance and other exchanges, which was really interesting to see. But without further ado, I'm Dope Oxide. I make content on YouTube, X, and CoinMarketCap, so be sure to follow those pages. Be sure to like and subscribe, and let's get right into it. First of all, for liquidations, $740 million today, which is quite significant. I've told you guys multiple times, usually we see an inflection point if we get above 750. And in this case, since it's on the long side, that would more than likely mean we can see a local bottoming to be put in place. But I guess when it comes to last week and what actually happened, we had so many liquidations. We had market makers actually pulling liquidity, which of course had a really detrimental effect on altcoins. As you guys can see on the total coin market cap charts, like others chart, we had a massive wick to the downside, pretty much minus 50% from here. And all these charts just look very abnormal right now. We had a lot of liquidations, and to be honest, in my opinion, it was clear manipulation. It was planned by the higher ups. A lot of the market makers actually pulled liquidity, which of course caused this massive liquidation cascade. Because if you don't have liquidity, that obviously means that there's going to be a lot of price impact when it comes to the charts, and we saw that clearly. This liquidation event only happened within a matter of like 15 minutes. So once again, if you guys are leverage trading, be careful. If you guys were actually doing a safe long, like say a 1.5 or 2x long, which is very safe, you actually would have got liquidated. Literally anyone that had a long open got liquidated, even if you had stop losses, because a lot of the liquidation cascades on other coins happened so quickly, more than likely your stop loss actually didn't get triggered. Next up is the Ethereum to Bitcoin chart. Of course, with last week's dump, we had a massive dump on the Ethereum to Bitcoin chart. We went all the way down to the 319 level, which actually went past our accumulation range we broke out since August. However, we didn't actually see a total breakdown because, as you guys can see, a daily close above was made. We never actually had a daily close below, which of course means the trend is still intact for Ethereum to Bitcoin. We still have to wait. We still have to wait on the charts and provide updates to you guys. But look, Ethereum to Bitcoin still wants to consolidate, and the target is still beyond the 3.9 key region. And more than likely, once that is broken, we can see some relief for altcoins. Next up is the Ethereum to USD chart. And really, when we zoom out, there is no updates to be had. We're still within this bull flag. We're still consolidating. On lower time frames though, there is some updates to show you guys. As you guys can see, the Ethereum chart is actually testing this purple box as resistance. And I've told you guys multiple times, we really want to stay above this purple box because that is our key support resistance flip area. As it stands right now on lower time frames, we're actually testing it as resistance. Previously, we were actually testing as support, which is the ideal scenario. So as you guys can see, support, 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 support. But now we're actually testing resistance for the first time, which we might see some downside potential because, of course, if this is actually getting tested resistance, we can expect a rollover. But if this bull flag is still intact, we can still expect this support to also be held, and we can expect a squeeze to the upside eventually, more than likely in November. Next up is the Bitcoin to USD chart. We can still expect consolidation to occur. We had that low put in place at the 103k level, and that is actually when we hit our $20 billion liquidation event. And look, when it comes to Bitcoin, Bitcoin technically on a higher time frame structure still hasn't broken its higher low and higher high structure. And we can still expect new highs to be made. Nothing has actually been broken. If we start breaking below like the 98k area, we might have to open the doors to a potential bear market to begin. But look, right now, 108k, we're still intact. We can still expect new highs to be made, and the sentiment is still resetting. Next up is the Total 3 chart. Same goes for Total 3. We're still consolidating above our major $950 billion area. And really, we're just testing our previous levels as support. We're testing our previous all-time highs. And really, we're just consolidating here and just need to wait for the charts to update and for breakouts to actually occur. Because as you guys can see, when it comes to breakouts and breakdowns, look, our breakout area is this level, the 1.14 trillion area. And when it comes to our breakdown area, our breakdown level is that 850 billion area. So as long as none of these are broken, Everything is noise. We just have to wait. This is just all ranging and really just chopping the markets, because really, as it stands right now, the total sentiment for Bitcoin and other crypto assets is totally bearish right now. If I go to the Fear and Greed Index, actually, we can actually see we had some extreme fear readings the past few days. And look, actually, we had an extreme fear reading today, which is actually really surprising because Bitcoin actually hasn't broken down. As you guys can see, the 17th and 18th of October, we had extreme fear readings, and we've just had another one today. So, of course, sentiment is getting completely reset. It's really good because that means a lot of bears are getting very loud, more than likely putting additional shorts. Because if we go to our liquidation heat map, we're having a lot of liquidations getting built above us, which just might be the fuel to the fire to actually get us out of this range, out of the 115k area, and really go all-time high and beyond. Next up is base native token assets. I'm sure you guys want me to show you some updates. First of all, for Alien Base has completely broken down. It has gone way down into our range low area. We can expect, however, this support to actually hold. It's held as support since basically the whole time Alien Base has been trading. It's a very strong support, and I still do expect this to actually be our bounce level because it has not been broken, and we can't expect support to be support until it isn't. And as it stands right now, it's support. So we can expect a bounce to be had here. It's in our purple box. It's in our major risk to reward accumulation area. If you guys haven't already accumulated Alien Base, this is a really strong spot. It's at major support levels, and I really do think this 4-7 level won't last long, in my opinion, if Bitcoin and Ethereum was to break out from these levels. Next up is TOSHI. TOSHI is looking really good. Of course, when TOSHI had its upbit listing, had a massive candle to the upside. It retraced most of it, but most importantly, it didn't retrace the whole move. It held as support and made a new higher low. We retested as resistance this 0.01k region, and then we broke down. But once again, when crypto had its major liquidation event last week, the $20 billion area, we didn't actually make a new low, which is really good to see. We actually didn't retrace the whole move. Yes, it might not seem as bullish because we're still making lower highs, but look, when it comes to TOSHI, we're still making higher lows on the higher time frames, and eventually this chart will break out to the upside, in my opinion. It might take a while, it might take a few months, because technically we could still actually stay in this range for, look, what is it, about technically till April. I don't think that's the case. I do think this will probably break out within the next 2 months. But look, when it comes to TOSHI, higher lows is still intact, and the trend has not changed for TOSHI. Out of all the base native token assets, in my opinion, TOSHI is actually looking the most bullish because it's actually kept structure and it's still making higher lows and higher highs. So TOSHI, in my opinion, is one of the most bullish coins on base, and I do not expect this trend to change. Next up is WMTx token. Look, WMTx token has had a major catastrophic breakdown on the charts. And look, when it comes to WMTx token, I do expect this accumulation range to extend, and we'll need more time for WMTx token to recover. As you guys can see, we broke down, went straight to that range low, we tagged it, and really we can expect this support to hold. And as long as it holds, this is an accumulation, in my opinion. It's going to weed out a lot more sellers because people will get impatient. But this is really another area to really start heavily bidding WMTx token, because in my opinion, this is a really good accumulation range. After extending the purple box, look, this is a really good risk to reward area, in my opinion. But of course, for WMTx token, the trend has been broken. We were expecting a high low formation to occur for WMTx token. We were expecting this to hold, but of course it broke down. So Vicious tells me, in my opinion, this accumulation range is back on. I expect this token really to have at least a few months of accumulation, reaccumulation at least, for this token to actually really recover and get back above 20 cents. But of course, if you see 20 cents get reclaimed in the next few weeks, I do expect this actually to be a deviation and we can actually start bouncing from there. But of course, when it comes to price chart updates, look, a lot of tokens have actually broken down. We had that major liquidation event. And really, when it comes to all base native token assets, TOSHI really is the only one that is the outlier, in my opinion, because TOSHI's chart just looks so good right now. But the other charts just really need more time to consolidate. If not, the trend has been broken. So let's see where we go. I'll keep you guys up to date. But definitely has not been a fun time for a lot of base native token assets. Next up is gold. Look, gold is in a massive parabolic channel right now. And I did tell you guys, and I have told you guys previously, whenever gold has local tops, we can expect a rotation into Bitcoin, just like we saw earlier this year in April. So as you guys can see, the 21st of April of this year, we actually saw Bitcoin bottoming out. So let me go to 21st of April. So 21st of April was actually around here. Let me draw it here. So yeah, so April was around here. And look, when it comes to Bitcoin, as soon as gold topped, really, Bitcoin started making new highs and higher lows and all-time highs. So we can expect the same to happen for this time round. So if this is the top for gold, in my opinion, Bitcoin will see some rotation and we can expect new highs to occur. And just backing this thesis, I have this tweet to show you guys. A chart I posted for subscribers as part of a larger update on Sunday. Bitcoin likes to tank as gold tops, but specifically likes to run after. So let me just look at higher time frames for you guys. So as you guys can see, the blue line is gold and the orange line is Bitcoin. And every time gold has topped, we can expect a short-term pullback for Bitcoin. But super important to note, after that pullback is done, we can expect a parabolic move to the upside. As you guys can see in 2020, gold topped, and then Bitcoin consolidated and had a little downtrend. But once that happened, it broke out to the upside. And we can also expect the same here when it comes to lower time frames, at least. For April of 2025, we had the same thing happen where we had gold top and then Bitcoin actually made a new high shortly after. So really, what does this tell us? This tells us if gold is actually printing a new high right now, we can expect more chop consolidation and maybe even a new low for Bitcoin. But once that is complete, probably in another month or so, we can expect Bitcoin to make new higher highs and higher lows. And we can definitely see that rotation coming from Bitcoin into the altcoins. But really, it's looking very bullish. You guys just have to hold on. Because when it comes to this gold chart, really, and the relationship against Bitcoin, this just tells us we're really close to the end of the cycle, but we can still expect a new autumn high to be made for Bitcoin. I know you guys are getting very impatient right now, but you guys just have to hold on because look, in the next month or so, I would not be surprised a new high is to be made for Bitcoin. We just need more time for the markets to get reset. We saw the fear and greed. We've seen extreme fear readings getting printed multiple times, and generally when we have prints like this, it does take a while for the bottoming formation to complete. Just like we saw back in February and March, it did take about a month or so for that actual bottoming formation to complete. So we can expect the same for this time around, especially if gold hasn't printed its high yet. We could still totally recover. Gold could actually bounce off its trend line and make a new marginal higher high. And then once that's done, I do expect that top to be put in, and then we can see eventual rotation from gold into Bitcoin. But that's all to the video, guys. Hope you guys liked the video. I'm sure it's not everything that you guys wanted, because look, we have to face the facts. A lot of charts did break down from the liquidation event last week. We had a lot of bearish sentiment. We had a lot of bearish price action as well, but we do see some tokens actually recovering nicely and really have their trend still intact, just like TOSHI has. So there is still some hope on the other side. We just have to wait for gold to top out. We have to wait for gold's rotation into Bitcoin, then we can actually see some really nice updates for our base native token assets. But that's all to the video, guys. Have a good one. Have a good day. Peace.